Yeah, just like Ron alluded to, I'm going to talk about Microsoft Security Copilot. And I'm also going to do a demonstration afterwards of Azure OpenAI, which I connected to my Sentinel instance. Not to confuse the two, but Copilot is probably going to end up doing some of the things that I'm going to show you that I was able to do through connecting Azure OpenAI to my Sentinel instance. My name is John Brown. I'm a principal security cloud solution architect at Microsoft. Been here for about 7 months. Did a little time as a government civilian, doing security work over at the State Department, a little bit of consulting work, and before that, I spent about 20 years in the military doing everything IT under the sun. So I appreciate everybody being here. I appreciate you letting me talk about Security Copilot and do this demo for you. I really like this, OpenAI and the way that Microsoft, we as Microsoft are incorporating it into our products. I know a lot of you probably already heard about the, Office 365 Copilot, GitHub Copilot, and now we're really starting to roll out security. And I really like the fact that we're doing this because it's the first tool that helps me as a security professional, right? So, for instance, I use ChatGPT, quite often throughout the week, but I can see the value in it. There's been instances where customers have asked me things. Hey, you don't know everything, right? You run into those novel ideas. And for instance, customers asking me about using certificates to sign code. Well, it's not something I deal with every day, but hey, ChatGPT, tell me about it. And it gets me 80-90% of the way there, where I'm a little bit smarter, do a little bit of research, and then I'm able to answer the customer's question in record time, right? I'm not out there searching for the question, trying to find somebody. So it's just a really exciting time. And then now we're really starting to turn it on in security, right? So I'll go ahead and start with the presentation here. Slide will go. There we go. All right. So, like everybody knows, the attacks are becoming more frequent, and as those attacks become more frequent, their ability to exploit you once an attack has taken hold. That time frame is gotten considerably short. I do apologize. We hear some stuff in the background. There's some work going on in my house. And then when you couple that with the lack of skilled workers, right? Those in the security field, we face some definite challenges. Not to mention, right? Security, really as a whole, is fragmented across, majority of organizations. Usually you end up with a lot of noise, might not be as scalable as you would like it to be. And again, experts are hard to find. So how do we have that paradigm shift? How do we put that, put security back in our favor, right? One of the ways is we can use this OpenAI partnership and Microsoft Copilot to have a Copilot for your security analysts, right? Especially for new analysts, right? They might not have the experience or hunting capabilities that a more seasoned security analyst may have. Well, if they have a tool where you say, hey, I'm having X, Y, and Z attack, and there's going to be a video at the end of this going to demonstrate a little bit of it. What are some of the things that I need to do as an analyst in order to mitigate this threat or investigate further? And hey, how do I write a query, in order to query across my data in order to find some of these threat actors? This first and only generative AI security product, right? For help defenders. Basically, it's the latest large language model with GPT-4. Coupled with a security-specific model, right? So it's that power of what everybody thinks of, ChatGPT, along with a security-specific model, and that's important, right? Because you want to have a model that understands that it's more security focused, right? I'll show you an example of something that I ran into just with linking my Azure OpenAI to my Sentinel instance, to where I got blocked content-wise, but it was just because of the wording, and I had to provide it more context. So, yeah. So we're going to the next slide. Just like I talked about, OpenAI coupled with a cyber train model, right? Running on Azure, fully scalable, coupled with evergreen threat intelligence. So the 65 trillion signals a day that we get across the Microsoft enterprise is fed into there, along with all of your security data that can come from any party. Like if anybody out there is familiar with log analytics and Sentinel, whatever you can feed it can be fed into Security Copilot. And then eventually, right now, Copilot is going to be integrated with Defender, Intune, and Sentinel. But the overall goal is to be able to take this and let it work with some of your third-party security solutions as well. Your data is always your data. This is a common question that we get. Hey, where's our data stored? Your data is your data stored, within your environment. It's not used to train other AI models. So just be comforted in the fact that your data is your data. And then just showing, Microsoft Security Copilot kind of sit in the middle of that, and then that integration, they want to expand that, purview, compliance. This stuff is very much top of mind with the customers that I deal with. So having that integrated into there and to help your analysts across that arena as well. Now I'm going to play this video. I'm going to see if it plays. If it doesn't play, I'll have a link that you can go to and you can watch this demo. So let me give this a shot here. Let me know, Ron, if you can't hear it.
Okay. I can hear it.
You can?
I cannot.
Yeah.
Oh, now it's coming up a little bit. Maybe you could turn the volume up.
All right. Oh.
Operations.
Hey, John, it's a little bit erratic. Why don't you do this? Why don't you send me this video link? There's obviously a lot of interest in automated security, plus ChatGPT powered security. I'll include this link in the post webinar email that everyone gets, so it's easy for everyone to watch it.
Okay. Yeah, we'll do. Yeah. Definitely take a look at it. Just to mention, it is in a selective preview now. So basically what Microsoft does, especially with these rollouts, is they'll give it to some strategic partners, and then they'll get feedback from them. Then there'll be a private preview, which other companies will be able to opt into, and then it'll go to the public preview and then GA, just like everything normal. So yeah. Let me go ahead. I want to show a demo. I'll pull up my screen here. All right. So what I have here, I have a deployment of Azure OpenAI within my own subscription. I have a Sentinel instance running, and what I've done is I've created a sample alert, and it's basically looking for an attack on my web application, one of my web applications, right? So normally analysts will get this, they'll look at it, they'll be like, oh, okay, hey, I can read the information here. Hey, this is the identity, this is where it is. You got a whole plethora of information. Give you some similar incidents in the Sentinel. So when I get this, sometimes maybe have a junior analyst say, where do I start? Now you could have a playbook that's written up for, hey, if the X, Y, and Z happens, you can go ahead and do this. But what I've done, and with the help of some other smart folks at Microsoft, and I'm going to share these links, so you can also do this with a with your own Chat GPT if you want to. There's directions on how to do that. That's kind of where I started with it. And then there's also a link to a GitHub post that'll give you a logic app similar to this. I've altered mine a little bit, and I'll talk about that in a minute. That'll allow you to do this as well. So Daniel Bates and Antonio Formato were the two folks that helped me out to get to this point. So what I have here is I have a logic app or a playbook, and it's called a playbook in Sentinel. And what it's doing here is that let me go ahead and run it while I talk about it. All right. So basically what you could do is you could set this up to run automatically. So say, hey, I get an incident, with it's alerting from, my Defender for endpoint or what have you. Right. So you can run it to where it triggers off that. Up here, I've got my URL to my Azure OpenAI instance, and then the API key. So basically what I'm doing is I'm asking it to, hey, can you describe the following MITRE attack cybersecurity framework tactics, right? Because in these incidents, it tells you, hey, they're in the execution phase or reconnaissance phase, right? So for the analyst, hey, where are they in attack and what does that actually mean? Then what it does, or it takes this question that I formulated, feeds it into my Azure OpenAI instance, right? It calls it, parses out the JSON that comes back, and then it takes it and it posts it, which I'll show you here in a minute, to my to my dashboard, to the analyst. What we also have in here, and don't mind this third one here, I'm kind of still working on it, so I don't want to demo it. This one here, basically, it asks, there's a question, hey, what tasks do I need to investigate this incident, right? So what do I need to do in order to properly investigate this instance? Takes that question, feeds it to the GPT instance, parses out the JSON, and then it does two things here. One, it adds that to one of the tasks that says, hey, you need to do these things. But then I take that same feedback and I say, hey, I also want you to generate a query. Right. So help me hunt for this based off of what you just told me. All right. There's going to be a third one here that's looking for a tool. It's something I'm working on. I was kind of thinking, I was like, hey, maybe I want it to give me a suggestion on a tool that I want to use. Right. So if you see here in my activity log, this ran correctly. Right. You will see that gives me a rundown. Hey, this is what this actually means, right? This is what the execution tactic means from the MITRE attack framework. And then for the activities, right, you'll see, hey, right here it says, these are the things that I would like you to do, right? Or what you need to do in order to investigate this incident here. And then this is my tool suggestion one. You could see that the third one didn't run, and you would see in this video here, it's still running right now. So it should be building me a query, but if not, I'll go ahead and run it again. But in the interest of time, what you would see here is a KQL query, right? It'll say, hey, if you're going to investigate this, it'll give you a query. Now, not to say that it doesn't make mistakes. Sometimes it goes long and doesn't and times out. But that's all in how you have it set up. And it's definitely a new technology. But again, I will say that in a lot of respects, it gets you 80 to 90% of the way there. So it's kind of like a smart security buddy on your side. But it makes your life a little bit easier as an analyst and as a cybersecurity professional. So I'll send that link out. Take a look at the Copilot. I don't have a timeline of when it will be available for the private or public preview. But I will say that there's a link to add your email address so you can get alerts, as to the progress of that. But I would imagine it come pretty fast because the Office 365 one I think is starting to roll out in a private preview now, and that was fairly quick. So. But yeah, I mean, it's an exciting time. I thought I just wanted to kind of demo and show some of the power of it, and just kind of bring it to light. Are there? I'm gonna stop right there. Are there any questions?
Hold it one sec. I know that people really enjoyed that demo. Hey, I'm going to do this as we're finishing up here. I'm going to ask a couple of people to comment because I always like to keep this interactive. I'm just going to let Gerard, who's out there in the Twin Cities with Optum, who loved it. Anything else you want to add, Gerard? Hopefully I unmuted you. Hopefully you can comment and I didn't put you on the spot. Sometimes I don't know if people's microphones work. Let me also, with Michelle Kirk, who loved the demo. Michelle, is there anything you want to add? I'm unmuting you as well. Maybe they're just listening in.
Yeah. One thing I will add, and this is part of, working with, a new tool, but especially this tool, it's got weird nuances, right? So I will say that when I got this from one of the Microsoft guys, it said that right here, it said, describe the following MITRE, and it spelled out attack, and it didn't have cybersecurity framework. It just said MITRE attack tactics. What I found is that it got blocked when I was asking this question, and the tactic was execution. So the content filter was like, it just didn't like the fact that it had attack and it had execution in there. So I changed the middle A to and that didn't work. And I was like, oh, okay, well, let me add framework. Didn't like it. But then I added cybersecurity in front of framework and it took it. So dealing with this, there's a little bit of nuance with context, right? Or telling it to be specific. I've fed it questions about tools and, hey, should I use this? And it would spit back everything that I put in there plus a